The impact that a great purpose will have on a business is several-fold. Firstly, it transforms corporate leaders into human beings that people want to follow. And you see this in Bill McDermott so clearly, and other corporate leaders out there today that they've really humanized themselves, and as an extension they've humanized their brand. In terms of your ability to attract talent, particularly millennial and Gen Z talent now, that really come to the world expecting business to do good, it's almost suicide not to speak to the values that you stand for, because you're simply not relevant to what they care about. Once they're inside the organization, it is critical in terms of unlocking their productivity, their sense of well-being, how fulfilled they are by work, which obviously also affects how long they stay. And we all know, as a cost saving or a business driver, keeping someone you've trained that has the institutional knowledge is so much more cost effective than trying to constantly replace them when the talent wars are so competitive now. Then in terms of whether you're a B2B company or a B2C company, being purposeful does two things. It mitigates the risk of consumer or media activism. Ever since Arab Spring, citizens and consumers all around the world have become increasingly emboldened in their ability to speak to brands through social media and otherwise and say, what are you doing? And we see countless examples of leadership and companies being called out for what they make, how they behave, even more so in recent days. At the same time, it mitigates risk. It also builds your reputation. You become a company that people want to see succeed. And as much as we optimize channels and our content and all these other levers we can pull as marketers, perhaps the biggest challenge for a brand is to be in the consideration set in the first place. And if a consumer or a potential customer isn't interested in you as a brand, it's so much more difficult for you to actually convert that interest into a sale, to win them over in the first place, to win their attention when they've got the latest cat video to watch on any one of countless channels. And then finally, I think there's an opportunity for individual companies and business at large to do something that really wasn't required and really wasn't possible to the same level as it is today, which is brands can transcend their products, their services, their category to shape culture. When you think about the brands that are leading the dialogue around access to public lands, or you read about diversity and brands leading, the dialogue around that, or you look at women's empowerment and the brands who've risen to that challenge, or issues like gun control. Politics aside, brands are stepping up to the challenge and saying, we have a point of view here, and we have a meaningful role to play that's actually bigger than what we make and bigger than our industry, because we're all part of those people who are responsible for shaping the future that we all want for ourselves. And so being purposeful as a company is an incredible opportunity for a brand to really play a meaningful role in society at large, and as I touched on before, to unlock that virtuous cycle whereby doing good, you will do well. And I think in the past, we would try to do well first, and if there was some money left over at the end of the day, we might try and do good at the same time. The reality of the marketplace in which we operate today, it's the same two players involved, but the polarity of that conversation has reversed. You do need to do well, and you need to show up in a certain way from leadership all the way through your organization to then unlock that same virtuous cycle of doing good and doing well. And so being purposeful as a company has dividends for leadership, it has dividends for employees, it has dividends in terms of selling and marketing your products to the consumers that will drive business growth, and it also allows a company to play a very meaningful role as someone who shapes culture and really is an architect of our future. And I don't think that's ever been possible to the same degree before.